The objective today is to justify the decision to make the internet open and available to everyone. In this class, you may definitely have whatever opinion you'd like. I'm definitely not micromanaging that. However, I just want you to support that opinion with solid details and facts, and I'm really looking for technical details in your support of the opinion. Today's lesson is going to really feel very philosophical. And I'm not a big fan of those types of lessons in a class like this computer science class, but we will throw in some technicalities at the very end there so you can really run with the idea of whether the internet should be open or not. Here's a full set of RFC information. In this video, Vint Cerf says that nobody and everybody is in charge of making the internet work, but the reason it all works together is because everyone uses the same protocols. So when you come to class, actually we'll have watch this video to start. My one think right share for you to begin though would be, who is considered the father of the internet? If you weren't here for the video, I'm giving you the hint right here when I read that first paragraph. So, IETF, Internet Engineering Task Force, is something we've talked about before. In my mind, I like to think of the Internet Society as like America, and then the IETF and two other organizations are more like the branches of America, okay, the American government. So if that analogy helps you in your mind understand exactly how the Internet Engineering Task Force works, I want you to think of, instead of checks and balances like the government has, the Engineering Task Force and the other two, they're more for clarity and additional information on things that happen on the internet and the way the internet works. Technically, here's what they do. They develop and promote voluntary internet standards and protocols, in particular the standards that comprise the Internet Protocol Suite. That's TCP and IP. And see there, I said that it's voluntary. So this whole internet thing, this internet, the way it works is a lot of voluntary stuff going on, and I think that's pretty beautiful. I mean, the idea that people are working together in such a positive way, that's just amazing. If we're going to define internet, I would do that by saying it's a group of computers and servers that are connected to each other. And even in that definition, the word computers and servers, I mean, servers are computers, computers are servers. There's very little difference between the two. I guess we could argue semantics, but I think in your mind, just don't freak out when you hear the word servers. Net neutrality. So this is a big topic we'll cover throughout the year in this course. That means or net neutrality is the principle that all internet traffic should be treated equally by internet service providers, aka ISPs. It is both interesting and important to know that the protocols or rules by which internet traffic is governed are not owned or controlled by any government or business, although as we've learned in previous lessons, the government definitely has control of some servers and control of large sections of the internet. It's a group of well-meaning citizen engineers dedicated to keeping the internet free, open, and robust for all. The IETF is the group of mostly volunteer citizens that proposes and develops all the standards and protocols that exist on the internet. Requests for comments, also known as RFCs, are documents like the ones we use in this lesson, and they are how these standards and protocols are defined, and they are published for everyone to see on the IETF website. They are some of the best written technical documents in existence. So think right share. Explain one challenge raised by Vint Cerf in The Internet is for Everyone, but it won't be if, and give one example of it that you know about. So just a funny meme right here. Let me give you some examples of the won't be ifs, okay? Possible responses include it's not affordable, so the internet won't be open if it's not affordable. The internet won't be open if government restricts it, if it's unable to keep up with high demand. isn't available everywhere for everyone. It's too complex. It has too many rules and laws. Users cannot protect their privacy. That's a big one right there. Going along with the debate in terms of net neutrality, privacy is a large debate currently going on as well. Parents and teachers can't create protected spaces for children. Very important in order for the internet to be open. This is a must do. And the last one, users are not responsible and mindful of the rights of others. So a quote to bridge us from those possible answers to more what ifs. It says, the internet is a reflection of our society, and that mirror is going to be reflecting what we see. If we do not like what we see in that mirror, the problem is not to fix the mirror. We have to fix society. Think right, share. Do you agree or disagree, and why? So when you enter a web address in a browser and hit enter, what happens? At some point, you see the web page in the browser, but what happens in between? What are all the steps? So think, write, share. Write down the series of things that you think or have heard happen right after you hit enter. What happens first, second, third, and so on. Don't worry if you don't know all the pieces or how they all fit together. If you don't know a step, or you are fuzzy on some details, or there's a gap, that's okay. Just write down the parts that you do know. So here's some keywords that might have appeared in your series. We're talking about routing messages to the right place, addresses, IP addresses, packets, security encryption concerns, translating URL to IP address, clients and servers, databases, internet service providers, physical mediums such as Wi-Fi, fiber optics, copper, wires, etc. So these are the things that are all a part of that process of what happens after you press enter. Think, right, share. How many of these 9 did you actually write down? So here's some want to knows. Choose 2 or 3 and I'll be happy. How does a web page come back to you and not someone else? You see, all these questions will lead us to a better answer in terms of should the internet be open and free to everyone? Is a web page one big message or multiple messages? How does a website remember who you are? What happens if a cable gets cut? Does the internet fix itself? Who is in charge of the internet? Who pays for the internet? Where, how might someone spy on you? Who controls what you're allowed to see? If a government wanted to restrict access to the internet, how would they do it? Who can see your internet activity and how? Are there parts of the internet you're not allowed to see? Where, how would a hacker steal your identity? What exactly is being attacked during a cyber attack? So remember, you're writing down just 2 or 3 of these questions that you want to know. Not that you already know, but want to. More examples and reasons to learn how the internet functions. The people who propose the laws or judge them often don't really know how the internet works. What makes sense and what doesn't. See, the internet is a series of tubes. Citizens don't know how to protect themselves from cybercrime, or often live in a cloud of fear and uncertainty, not only about the law, but their rights and about what's actually technically possible. Hackers take advantage of unknowing, unsuspecting people. Corporations who provide internet service need to balance profitability with providing access to everyone. Countries restrict access to the internet or monitors activity. How is that technically possible? What is it that they are actually doing? So these are all reasons to learn how the internet functions so you can understand the world we live in just so much better. Think, right, share. Of these 5 examples, which is the most significant in your opinion? So now we'll turn to the reading for the day. This is a short reading, okay? And that doesn't mean you just read and finish. I'm looking for you to Google a lot of the terms in the reading, and that action will provide us some great pieces for a conversation, and we'll have that conversation on Slack. Remember, Slack being a very professional tool that real programmers use, real technical people are using as professionals in the adult world. So that's why we're using it. We want to get you completely prepared for that world. At the end of the day, here is your DOL. I want you to use 2 specific reasons or details to answer, should the internet be open to everyone?